Good morning. Welcome. It's the 66th Coffee with the Commissioner. It's Wednesday morning, 6:30 a.m. And we missed last month. I was out of town, but we're glad to pick it up again here in November. First, before we even get started, I just want to personally say thank you to this week is Veterans Day. Tomorrow's Veterans Day. A personal thanks to all the men and women who have served the country, who are currently serving. Selfishly, including folks in my own family. My daughter served in the Air Force. My son is in the Navy Reserves. My brother was a Marine Corps officer for 27 years, and my father was a Navy Master Chief, and served for 33 years. So we appreciate all the men and women who serve. There's a lot of folks who work in the county who are veterans, and we appreciate all the service and men and women. So happy Veterans Day. And without further ado, good morning to everyone. We have Wes Marino, our county administrator. We have Eric Gilmore, our director of public safety. And our special guest today is Clara Long. She's the director of neighborhood and human services. And she's going to tell us, we're going to get to her in a little bit. She's going to tell us about an exciting program that the board is managing, utilizing funds from the federal government to assist folks with their rental payments through the COVID pandemic. So we look forward to hearing all about that program. It's a great program for our citizens, many of whom are still struggling through this COVID economy. So Clara, again, welcome, and thank you for being here this morning. You may want to put your camera down just a little bit because if you can, there we go. Now we can see you better. All right, and what we typically like to do is we like to turn the floor over to our county administrator, Wes Marino, so he can give us an update from the county. And I know there's no shortage. In fact, we had some really good news yesterday. So Wes, would you like to give an update on behalf of the county?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. So we have a lot of good things happening in the county. I mean, some good stuff. You know, we're coming off the Blue Angels weekend on the beach last weekend. It was a big event, very successful, and it was great economic impact for the island, just a great event for the community as a whole. And, you know, anytime the Blues are flying and it's 65 degrees outside and the sun's shining, you know, it's a good day. And so it was a good event. We have come a long ways in Escambia County with our wages, and I am excited about that. We've been, as you know, we've been struggling with recruitment and retainment, but we have put a significant effort into increasing wages for our workers here in Escambia County. We have instituted a $2,000 sign-on bonus. So we have 400 openings. Corrections told me yesterday actually, that he has 22 candidates now in the queue coming in. And so that's exciting. And I look forward to gauging our success as we move forward. And I think we're going to be very successful. Our EMS and paramedics, you know, we made a huge jump in that regard a few weeks ago. And I just can't say enough about the support of the board. It's been great. The board has been very receptive to these ideas and recognizes that our challenges and has taken action to address them. So I really appreciate that. We have a new solid waste director coming in. We fired him. His name is Donald Sykes. He comes with many years of experience in that field and industry. He is a professional engineer, and he'll be with us in January. And so we're looking forward to that. And just a lot of good projects. We had a big announcement from the governor late yesterday afternoon. We have 4 or 5 big septic sewer projects that are being funded through grants to ECUA, $2.5 million a piece. Some of them a little more, some of them a little less, but we're excited about that. So we've set a meeting with ECUA and their engineer for next week to kind of sit down and map out if we can take advantage of any of that construction with sidewalk amenities or drainage amenities, and we would love to be able to partner in with some of that. So we're excited about that, and just the county as a whole. I mean, I'm optimistic. You know, I think you have to be optimistic in these roles, and you'll hit some challenges, but the challenges are what they are. There'll be challenges. There's always challenges, but you just work through them. And I think we're on the verge of some really good things here in Escambia County.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you mentioned that Blue Angels show. That was something else, and really, you guys did an outstanding job. I had the opportunity to be out there with my wife, and just a great show, great crowds, everyone really supportive. Like you said, perfect Chamber of Commerce weather. Maybe it could have been 5-10 degrees warmer, but you know, who's going to complain, right?
Right.
Yeah, just fantastic. Everyone, Santa Rosa Island Authority, our guys out there in the maintenance division, just everyone did it. The sheriff's office, the presence that was out there. So, you know, we throw an event in Escambia County. we do a great job, and everyone, all the people that chipped in, the Navy, what they did. I mean, what a boost to our tourism industry. Here we are in the shoulder season to get that I mean, everything was sold out. It was sold out. The restaurants were packed. It took an hour and a half to get home. I mean, it was just crazy. So very, very happy about that. We also have Eric Gilmore here. So Eric, there's been a lot of changes in public safety, and you've taken the helm. And how long has it been now? About 6-8 months now, or has it been longer than that?
Interim, I took over December of last year as interim. Officially, it was July of this year. So officially July of this year as the public safety director.
Well, again, everything I'm hearing is that you guys are just killing it. David Torcell just really making things happen and really getting the job done. So give us an update. How are things going with your hiring and your retainment and things like that?
Like Wes said, I want to echo, I appreciate the support of the board. You guys do make the difference when we go to you listen. And I do appreciate that. It's been great working with you guys, and the successes is due partly to you guys absolutely taking it serious and helping us move forward. So thank you so much for y'all support in this year and what we've got accomplished so far. So thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah.
Dave Torcell, Chief Torcell gave me an update yesterday that we had hired one paramedic. It was immediately put in after we announced the wage increase, and then 4 paramedics in the queue right now that we're fixing the interviews. So we should start seeing those people roll in. Fire, we do have several candidates that we've hired that have their fire standards because of the fire wage increase. And we also started our cadet program. We got 4 cadets in the program right now. They've started their EMT a couple of weeks, or actually last month, and they're going through their program right now. So we're
fantastic,
optimistic as well. I'm very excited about where we're going. You guys have approved 3 fire trucks for us. So Chief Catrabone and went down to Ocala last week, met with E1 to get the trucks lined out and spec'd out. So that's going great. We've got 3 additional fire trucks with the ARPA funds that we're fixing to put to the board with you guys to get those things going. And then Chief Torcell's working on his ambulances. So like I said, as Wes said, like you said, I'm optimistic. I'm excited. I mean, things are rolling. We do hit walls here and there, and we hit hiccups, but overall, the mood, we're rolling, and it's going quick. So I do appreciate that. A couple things I want to talk about. We are still in hurricane season. Doesn't feel like it, but
it doesn't.
I've had several people this hurricane season say, "Oh, it hasn't been a bad hurricane season." But you look at the season as a whole. We've used all the letters in alphabet to name all the storms. So we've had a lot of storms. We just haven't been impacted. So it has been a pretty big season. But knock on wood, and lucky for us, we've got bypass this year, and we'll take that all day long. So
all day.
But the season does run through the 30th. But we've got cold weather coming in. We did have a high pressure kick in earlier than usual that helped us out. That kept everything in the Atlantic. So we'll take it all day long, and I hope that trend continues. Right. So anyway. I do want to talk about last week. There was a search for an 82-year-old male who went hunting and went lost. And I want to talk about that just a minute because there was some integral pieces of that. The sheriff's office Wednesday put a huge contingent out there. They put their SWAT team out there, which was like 30-something guys. They're cadets, their mobile command. They had class kids, Florida Game and Fish. It was a big group of people looking for this individual. I caught wind of it. I went up there with the drone from emergency management. So I took the drone up there to see if we can help out. And there were several drones in the sky. And as I was flying, our drone has infrared capability. But in the heating of the sun and the high canopy, it was hard to see the ground level and you get a lot of reflections. So I told the commander at the time, or the lead person, I said, look, we'll come back tonight. We'll fly the drone at night and see if we can differentiate the heat signatures. So Chris Holloman, my operations chief here in emergency management, was driving in from Tallahassee. He had a training he was coming back from. I asked him, I said, will you swing by the office, grab the drone? I've got it on charge, and run up there and see if we can see anything different. And working with the sheriff's office and those great group of guys, Chris took the drone up there, and Chris found what he thought was the individual on the screen because it gave a better heat signature at night.
Really?
Put a black hot on and found him about 1,600 feet in the woods. Chris kept the drone on the individual, gave the coordinates. Class kids, the sheriff's office made their way back to him, and lo and behold, walked right up on him. So
wow,
it was real integral in helping it out. He was 1,600 feet back in the woods. He was, dehydrated. He was It was hard for him to walk. So we called Station 4, Cantonment Fire, and Station 6. And those guys went in with chainsaws and cut their way back there. Sheriff's office brought additional manpower. He went across a branch in a thicket, and it took about an hour to cut back to him.
Wow.
It took several hours to get him back out. So, Station 4, Inslee Fire Department, the sheriff's, and you see pictures of these guys coming out, and they've got water up to their waist where they have been and not getting to him. So great effort on all the agencies and not giving up and using all the resources to go find this individual. I just want to give a kudos to Chris for thanking him for going out after hours and doing that, because he stayed up all night with the crews. They didn't get him out of the woods till 4 o'clock. And then Chris had to come back, get Thor, and take it to the beach for the Blue Angel Air Show and set it up. So that man got little to no sleep that night, and I do appreciate his effort and everybody's effort. It was a great team effort to find this individual and get him out. So.
No, and Eric, the gentleman, was elderly as well. As my understanding, he was 82 years old, right? So
that is correct. That is correct. He was 82 years old. So
I think a couple of important things. That's a great story, and of course we didn't hear about that. So I'm glad that you're sharing the credit for all the folks who did the work. But without that drone in the sky, maybe it might have turned out different. So thank God capability, and we were able. Hey, did our bloodhounds go out? Did we use our bloodhounds at all?
Yes, the hounds did go out. So they did find a trail. They were out there. I apologize about that. The road, the prison, the bloodhounds were out there, and was doing search and rescue too. So yes. Wow.
Okay. Well, I mean, it just goes to show, what a caring community, and with able and capable first responders that know how to link arms in an emergency. And I've seen this so many times growing up here in my whole life. And then, what happened at NAS Pensacola that day. And of course, a situation that, sadly, they don't always turn out with happy endings, but I'm sure glad they found this gentleman. But I think the moral of the story is this: at least this individual told folks where he was going. I mean, he communicated, hey, I'm going to my normal spot. So when he didn't come back, people, could pop the flag and say, hey, look, something's going on. I just think it's an important lesson we can all take. We got to communicate with folks, let them know where we're going to be. When we don't show up, we can call out the cavalry. And what a great story, Eric. Congratulations to all your men and all the men and women of the sheriff's office and the county who helped bring this individual home. Is he going to be okay? Was he injured, or what was his condition?
He was, I don't know his exact condition, but he was puny. He was dehydrated and weak, of course. And I don't know where he sits right now, but I know they took him to the hospital. They took him in. I don't know exactly what all his injuries or anything was, but from what I understand, he's going to be okay. So.
Well, man, what a great story. Happy to hear that. Happy.
Yeah, no, that's why I wanted to share that. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of people, a lot of resources, and that the technology today that we have to utilize and helping do that and assist. And it was just a great story all the way around. So
that's fantastic. Well, thank you. And please pass along our appreciation from myself and the board, because that's a story that wouldn't be told unless you took the opportunity to do it and manage those people up, which I appreciate you doing that. Because again, that story about that individual, he's just one employee of nearly 2,000 in the county, stayed up all night, taking care of something, didn't call in sick the next day, went and did his job. And our county, I can't say enough about the staff that works here. Our county is full of people with that dedication, and they don't get enough credit. They get the brunt of complaints. Oh, you're not doing. There are people that just working, and like you said, we've got 400 openings. This is the resignation, nation right now. No one's working. No one wants to roll off the couch and go to work. Everyone's getting some kind of program. So, the fact that we've been able to keep the ponds, cut, keep the roads maintained, keep the permits issued with a staff that reduced, keep the jail operating, keep the ambulances rolling, the fire trucks rolling with our staffing challenges. I mean, it just goes to show the level of commitment of our employees. So just can't say enough about them, but thank you for that report. That's awesome. Well, before we get to you, Clara, we appreciate you being here again. I just want to give a quick update on some of the things that are going on that are probably newsworthy. Let's just use that term. We've all heard about some moves from some downtown individuals toward clearing a homeless encampment from under the bridge. A week ago today, we heard about it. We heard rumors about it. It ended up in the press, and I asked the question at that particular point. Might have been 2 weeks back now. Had this group contacted anyone in planning and zoning to obtain the permits, the health authorizations, the planning for the road that would be necessary to service any kind of porta potties? I mean, you just don't go plant a campground And so Wes, not to put you on the spot, but have we heard anything from anyone? Because one of the locations everyone's touting on TV is actually in my district off of Mobile Highway. And I've heard from a lot of angry residents out there. They don't want a homeless camp near their neighborhood. So has anyone from that organization reached out to the county officially yet?
Not, not that I'm aware of, Commissioner. Certainly nobody's reached out to me. And the last I spoke with Mr. Horace Jones, that nobody had reached out to Development Services either. And ironically, I was at a town hall meeting last night, and there was a citizen there from Brownsville who was extremely concerned because they had gotten wind that this group was also looking at putting some of those folks at the old Salvation Army there in Brownsville. And so he was highly concerned about that. And so, we're hearing these things, but yet nobody's really approached us that I'm aware of anyway. And so it is a concern for us when you infiltrate a community without any public input or without any coordination. And, hopefully level heads will prevail. But yeah, we would certainly want to be involved in that process and be aware, and the community needs to be involved in that process. And, we need to hear their input and their concerns with these types of issues.
Yeah. And one of the things that I did right away after I read the news article and saw the report on Channel 3 was I spoke to Horace Jones in our planning department. I spoke to some folks over there about, what would be required. Okay. If people were playing it on the up and up and not trying to do, do an end around or, just do it over the weekend and just make it happen and, run until they get tackled or just do it. What they would have to do is they would have to coordinate. And in order to bring porta potties out there, which obviously would be necessary for a group of 100 tent camping facility, obviously you want to have porta potties. Well, they'd have to have a road to service those. And there's no roads in this property. It's a former pit that's been filled in. Doesn't even meet the size requirement. It's actually 4.7 acres. It has to be a minimum of 5 acres. So I found out all this. It's not something you can just snap your fingers and say, I'd kind of like it done before Thanksgiving. Let's just move it. And here's what we're going to do. If you're going to do it by the book, you've got to coordinate with our planning and zoning department. And that hasn't happened yet. So the concern that I've heard and loud and clear from neighbors is they don't see how this helps them improve their community. There's a community of District 1 that's struggled with some challenges. We've done what we can to get out there and help them clean it up. And they're rightly concerned. And they've expressed that to me in emails, and telephone calls. And it's not, and I just got to make this point very clear. It's not that they have disdain for these folks who are down on their luck or somehow don't think they're equal humans or, have a problem with them. They want to help, but, you don't help them by moving a problem from downtown into right next to an existing neighborhood. The reports I'm hearing from downtown is you've got folks urinating in broad daylight in front of people. You've got folks engaged in drug use in that camp. You've got people saying they don't want to get free of drugs. They want to do drugs. You've got prostitution that's happening. There's multiple homes down in that area that have had items stolen off their front porch. One gentleman lost over $1,000 in fishing tackle off his front porch. They're not happy. They're finding human defecation, in their areas. And so, I don't believe any neighborhood should be subject to that at a minimum, especially on a surprise attack type deal where you wake up one Monday and then they're all there because no one wanted to follow the process. They just wanted to follow an arbitrary deadline and make it happen. So Wes, what can we do to prevent that from happening? Do we have any means at our disposal to prevent that from happening with our code enforcement or anything like that? Because people are asking me now, how can we stop them from doing it if they're
Yeah, we would certainly engage our code enforcement and our land development code. We would use those tools. And the other thing that I've thought about with some of this is, they talk about putting porta potties out, but who's going to pay to service those porta potties?
Yeah, exactly.
Because nobody's going to service them for free.
Right.
And so, there is going to be a financial impact somewhere to somebody, and there's probably other things that are going to be a financial impact with this movement. So, when the funds run out to services for porta potties, then what happens? And so
Exactly.
there's some long-term concerns there, and without having any conversation to know what the real plan is, it does make it difficult to kind of get ahead of it.
Well, and I know that there's a task force. I know they're putting together, a diverse task force, and you're trying to find solutions for the issue. And I understand it's a very complex issue, and I don't understand every aspect of it. But what I do know is there's a percentage of those folks who are homeless by choice, for lack of a better term. They don't want to conform to social norms. They want to continue to abuse alcohol or other illegal substances, and they're just quite happy to go get the free meals where they can get them, go panhandle where they're able to do so, and just exist. And look, there's nothing I can do to help someone that doesn't want to help themselves, right? I can't make you help yourself, but I think what we ought to do, and in my district, what I'm going to ask staff to do is ensure that if anything like that is going to be done by the book. It's not going to be a weekend deal where they do a caravan of church vans and then, we wake up on Monday morning and find it in my district, and no one's done any of the required permits or authorizations to do it. My understanding, this task force has about $3 million, and they've got opening doors. They've got some other social service organizations that are working with them. And I just have a simple proposition. You either take care of the problem there, right? It's walking distance from many of the places where they get a hot meal. It's not a stone's throw from the police department. I know it's unsightly. I know that, the mayor has expressed, his wish to make that thing go away. I know the neighbors don't like it, but it's there. It's there now. So any attempt to move it next to any other existing neighborhood is going to come off like the city just shuffling a problem off to another neighborhood or community. So take the $3 million, go buy something way out in the woods, and bust the people out there. Set up some office trailers. This is just the Jeff Bergosh plan, right? People would say, oh, it doesn't make sense. Well, they would make sense if you listen to it. You bust them out there, you put mobile office trailers there, you bring in the services once or twice a week, the counselors, the job training, the substance abuse people, whatever the case might be, the first aid, the medical people. And, you bring the food out there to them twice a day. You run a bus down to the mass transit hub, right? So they can ride the bus and go do what they want to do, go get a job or whatever they want to do. And then you drive them back to the camp away from neighborhoods out in the boondocks, right? And you let them camp out there. You have porta potties, you have regular portable showers, whatever the case might be, but you move them away from a neighborhood. Now, the homeless advocate, it's not good because then they're not near places where they can walk to. Well, no, that's right. They're not near places where they can walk and defecate and urinate in neighborhoods. That's right. No, they're going to be in the woods. And then when they graduate, you make room for the next person. How do you know they graduate? When they stop jumping on the bus to come back. But to do anything else and move it into a neighborhood, I'm not going to support that. They got all kinds of money. Let's move them to the woods. That's the Jeff Bergosh plan. It probably won't go over well, but to me, you talk to the neighbors, they'd much prefer that than you bringing it next to their neighborhood. Any thoughts on that, Wes?
Well, it's like you said, it's a difficult situation. We're dealing with it also around our library downtown. I've got some citizens around the library that we've been interacting with, and they're just at their wits' end because they don't know what to do. And it's law enforcement. You don't want to arrest them and take them to jail because our jails already got enough folks in it. And so it's just a tough situation. We've heard recently from our sheriff that FDOT has contacted the sheriff's department and says, hey, don't roust anybody out from under our overpass. It's an FDOT right of way. We don't want to be seen as kind of, manhandling or pushing people out. And so, they're concerned about the perception of that. And so, the PPD is the same way with the library. You can try to move them along, but you don't want to get too forceful. And so it is a problem. It really is a problem. And at our library, we have groups that are coming in and want to feed. Well, the frustration from the citizens is, well, if the groups are going to come there and feed, well, of course the homeless are, they're going to stay there.
Right.
And so we've been working with some of those groups to try to come up with an alternative to them coming to the library to feed. But it is a problem. It is a real problem. And we've talked about panhandling, and the sheriff says, well, you don't really have a panhandling problem. You have a homeless problem with some of the issues that you mentioned just a bit ago. And so it is an absolute challenge. There's no doubt about it.
And you want to be I want to be humane. I want to be a Christian. I want to help people. But, a lot of times, and this is a personal story that happened. One gentleman was on the Cervantes Street off ramp off of the I-110 South with a sign, "I need help. I need food. I need help." I saw him one day, didn't have anything to give him. The next day I brought a bag. I put a can of beans. I put a box of candy, hard candy that wouldn't melt. I put a bottle of water and a spoon and a napkin. And I knew that I would see him because I saw him there. And so I pulled up and he was on the passenger side. I rolled down my passenger window, handed him the thing. He came up, took it. In one move, he flung that thing over his shoulder, gave me a attack me. It was the weirdest thing ever. It's like, hey, look, man, if you want food, I'm not going to give you money to feed your habit. But if you want food, I tried to give you something. And sure enough, a couple of days later, I saw the can of beans rolling. It was Vienna sausages and a can of beans. A lot of them don't want food. They want you to give them money so they can go buy drugs or buy alcohol. And I don't want to feed their addiction. I don't want to enable their dysfunctional lifestyle. So I don't want to sound half-hearted, but we're a very generous community. I believe there's 6 days a week, 2 or 3 places you can go downtown and get a hot meal. So you move them away, you move them to a neighborhood out in the county. How are they going to get to their meal? How are they going to get to the hot meals? It's just the problem, the solution they're throwing at this problem isn't going to work. And so that's why I'm speaking out about it. Neighbors don't want it, and rightfully so. No one would want it near their neighborhood. You try and move it to East Hill or Gulf Breeze, just see what happens, right? See what happens. You try and do that. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. I wanted to make sure I got that out there where I'm at, my position. Won't support it. Want to help people, do it way out of way where it's not going to be inconveniencing anyone. They can get the services out to them, right? And then you can bus them a couple times a day to the mass transit hub and they can jump on it, but give them free bus passes. We got $3 million to work with. Give them bus passes. They can drive around. And once a day, you bus them back out to the campground, right? They can take a shower, use the restrooms, whatever, but we're not going to make it easy for them to pilfer from people's garages, cars. We're not going to make it easy for them to defecate in neighborhoods and urinate all over the place in front of kids. We're going to make sure we're not going to let them make it easy for them to leave their needles and other paraphernalia around and any other dysfunctional stuff they want to do. That stuff has to be moved far away. And then you help them there. Anyway, I've taken a bit of time to speak about that, but I think it's very important to put that on the record, how I feel about that. Before we get to Clara, we appreciate your patience. I do want to also say, I want to congratulate the county. We just got done redistricting in a very, very compressed time frame. Typically, to do this in coordination with another whole board, the board, in this case, the school board, we worked very, very diligently over 2 public meetings, a couple special meetings, and just congratulate the members of the Escambia County School Board and my counterparts on the Board of County Commissioners for just the superhuman effort. And also I want to thank Supervisor Elections Stafford and Chris Heaney from his team, for facilitating. But we were able to get it done. We got it over the line. It will be, the draft map will be advertised twice over the next 4 weeks. And then if all goes well, we will, actually the plan is that we will vote to adopt that map on a public hearing on December 2nd. And at that point, it will go into effect. So congratulations to everyone that worked hard, put in the effort to bring realistic maps that really met the spirit of the law and the letter of the law. I know some folks have contacted me, very, very happy about, a small number, maybe a dozen have contacted me, and they really didn't necessarily like the way the process was rushed. They feel like maybe their voices didn't get heard. And sadly, that's probably true because of the time frame. We got our data late. We had COVID. We couldn't really have a lot of things going on, 3, 4, 5 months ago. And then, we have this rush to get it done by the end of this year, because if we don't do it this year, we can only do it in odd numbered years, which would have been 2023. I was an early and often advocate for waiting until 2023. We were told by the attorneys, the school board attorney and our own attorney, that to do so could have drawn a lawsuit because the size districts of our districts had gone more than 10% out of balance, 5% over, 5% under. And I doubt that would have ever happened because of the fact that there was extenuating circumstances. If we would have had to wait, we got the data late. But regardless, that's all water under the bridge. We got the job done. Folks wanted to rush it. We got the job done. And so congratulations to staff and my counterparts. So without further ado, we are here with Clara Long. You run the Neighborhood and Human Services Department. And I wanted to have you on because with the CARES Act and now with the American Rescue Plan money from the federal government, we've been able to do a lot of things for citizens. And your department really is boots on the ground in some of the challenged communities with folks who have really been impacted by this pandemic and the resultant recession. So why don't we start out with you just introducing yourself and telling me about you and your department, what you do, and then we'll get into the meat of the ERAP.
Thank you, Commissioner. I won't be long. My name is Clara Long, and I'm the Director of Neighborhood and Human Services. And like you said, we are boots on the grounds with neighborhoods and definitely touching the lives of the citizens of Escambia County. Today, I want to talk about our emergency rental assistance program. It's about $17 million that our board, you Commissioner Bagaj, voted on to allow us to help citizens of Escambia County, renters and landlord with arrears, rental arrears, as well as utility arrears that people have suffered during COVID, whether they've been laid off from their jobs or they just lost their jobs due to COVID impact. And there was about $17 million that's out there right now. There is no deadline for the application process. All of our information is found on our county website at myescambia.com /ERAP, ERAP. So all of that information is out there. I do want to encourage these renters, if you are having assistance issues that you're needing help, the landlord as well, please go out to our website and apply. We've had right now, the program has been into effect about 3 weeks now. We've had over 1,200 applicants has already submitted applications. And the process, it does take a little while, but it does take a little time because of the documents that you have to submit from the renter as well as from the landlord.
Hey, Clara, can you tell us, so if you're a person who's out there struggling, you go to the website, Escambia.com.
Yes.
You can go put in ERAP in the search bar, or you can go /ERAP.
Yes, sir.
And then that will have a link to the process. As I saw, there's a PDF file that lists like the steps, but so what kind of documentation does a person need to provide in order to get some assistance from you?
So first, when they go out to the website, they do have to register with they have to have a valid email. That's very important that they have a valid email and they have to register. And the documents they need, basically, they have to show proof of income because this is an income-based program. So they have to show proof of income of their household. They can do like their tax return, 2020 tax return. They can do, if they have pay stubs, they can provide that. They have to show like a valid driver's license or valid government ID. So the basics that they need are just a few things that they have to upload into the computer, and as well as the landlord. So if one cannot do it or they are afraid to put the information out there, there is a hotline that they can call at 850-403-6044 to schedule an appointment, and that's Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. They can call that number and someone will schedule an appointment and meet them face to face and assist them with putting their information into the system.
Yeah, that was my question, because I know some folks may not necessarily have access to scanners and
Right.
things of this. Everyone's got a smartphone, but you
Yes.
can't do it all with a smartphone. You got to have a scanner. So if someone is really in this predicament, they can call and set an appointment and come meet with your staff. Your staff will assist them with scanning documents or whatever the case might
Yes, absolutely. And they can do it by their phone, but when you're taking pictures, you just have to make sure it's clear. But
okay.
Everything can be uploaded via their phone if they don't have a scanner. But like I said, some of them, people do have that computer challenge where they can't do it themselves. We do have our public library, so we have computers set up in those libraries as well. And we do have some library staff that's willing to kind of help them just to get started. But again, if they need that one-on-one assistance, we do have that available Monday through Friday.
And that's fantastic. See, this is a lot of folks probably don't even know about. What would disqualify someone? Like, for instance, if a person's on disability or if he's already receiving some other government entitlement for COVID, is this over and above anything else? I mean, can we?
So the income is based on that 80% AMI. So just for one person, they can't make over $36,900. So it is an income-based program. So as long as they're within their income criteria, then they're eligible. But it's not available for homeowners. It's only available for renters.
Renters.
and
Okay.
landlord. Yes, sir.
And that's because of the federal statute. That's not something.
So it's not, right, correct.
So
Absolutely.
if you're the, wow, you talk about an unlucky predicament. So if you're the person who scraped together your life savings and bought a house in 2019, and then this hits and you're struggling to, I mean, you know, but hopefully those folks got other forms of relief. Are there any other forms of relief for the guy or the family who's started with a starter house and struggling?
Yeah, so we always, let people know 211 is out there, and they have a list of agencies that have funds available to assist homeowners with these types of, whether it's a mortgage help or utilities assistance, or if they need food, different things like that. So there are other agencies that are out there that do have funds that they can provide to help as well.
Fantastic. Okay, so I heard you mention 1,200. So 1,200 have applied. How many have gone through the process and are actually receiving assistance? If you have that number, I would just be curious to
We
know.
probably got about 350 that have
Really?
actually gone, and some of them have their duplicate benefits, because there's ourflorida.org. They provide
I
the same type of assistance. So a lot of people have gone out to the Our Florida website and got assistance already. And so there's some there was duplicate of benefits that did not were eligible that did apply again. So, but for the most part, we are processing the ones that are eligible. We're processing those as we speak.
And may I ask, so if I'm a person and I got my landlord and I'm meet the criteria, how many months can I get the money? Is it in perpetuity or till it runs out? Or tell me how that works.
So the arrears, it goes back 12 months. I mean, anything after March 3rd, 2020, they can apply. And then from there, we can pay back 12 months of arrears. And then if they are still not able to, bring everything up to current, we can assist them on a month-to-month basis as we move forward. But the most is 3 months, yes, sir, in advance.
So let me ask another kind of interesting question. So if I'm the landlord and I tried to work with this guy, knowing COVID was tough and everything, and I worked for 8 months, 10 months, and I just couldn't do it, they weren't paying the rent, and I know the eviction moratorium or whatever happened, and that person, does that landlord have any recourse to go back and get the 10 months where maybe he wasn't paid his full rent from someone, or does it require the two-way cooperation between the landlord and the former tenant? Or does that?
Right. So the landlord can do that. He can apply for the arrears, but we do reach out to the tenant as well, just to confirm that the tenant did live there and, did not pay. But there's just a form that they have to fill out. But yes, the landlord can go back and request a recapture of those arrears. Yes.
Are those situations happening? I mean, if you're the guy who got kicked, I mean, they are. So they're saying, yeah, I was there, but I got kicked out.
Yes, absolutely. We have that, and we do try to talk to the landlord as well. Once everything is brought up to current, that to please to try to work with those tenants to try to keep them on that path where they are paying and they're not evicted.
Okay. Now you mentioned the threshold 30. What was that number again? 30,000, 36,000?
What's that? The
eligibility threshold.
So for one applicant, if it's one household, it's 36,900.
900. If it's like a family of four, what could that house?
Let me get that number for you. I have it.
I appreciate this. This is very interesting.
That's okay. That we do have that information on our website as well. The breakdown of the household. I thought I had all this information in front. Oh, let me give me a minute. Okay, here we go. So for a family of four, they can't make over 55,300.
55.3. And Ashley online has asked if you could please repeat the contact telephone number. Could you?
Absolutely. It's 850-403-6044.
Okay, fantastic. I appreciate that.
Yes. And I'm sorry, gosh, that one household income, I'm sorry, it's 38,750.
38,750. And then the household of would be 55,000.
55,300 for a family of 4. That's
Okay,
correct.
now here is a dumb question from someone who doesn't know anything about this. So does that have to be like W-2, like working a job income? I mean, if a person say has multiple children and they're receiving other benefits from the government, rent, I don't know, whatever, does any of that count? Does any of that count toward income?
They do look at that. So that what they have to do is just provide all of their incoming income as far as everyone that's in the household that's under that's over the age of 18. So
Yes,
if their employment, then yes, they have to submit all that. But they do. I don't think necessarily that the like some income that's coming in for children under 18 is going to go
Okay.
against.
Okay, interesting. Well, I mean, I think it's a really incredible safety net program. I mean, I know that there's a lot of folks, a lot of folks who are hurting, and we saw that when we did our payouts to people out of the CARES Act. I mean, the number of folks who were able to take advantage of that benefit, and so I'm surprised to hear 1,200, but I think. And we just recently did a video too. I got the link to the video. That was really nifty. And that was produced, I believe, in-house. Did the in-house?
Yes, it was. It was done in-house. That was.
Yeah.
Yes, CMR did that.
Are we going to be undertaking any kind of external advertising program? Because I think if we perhaps put that out on Channel 3, maybe more folks might be able to take advantage of it. I mean, you got 17 million is a lot of money. I mean, how much of that have we drawn down?
Probably at this time was less than 10,000 right now that we have expended. I mean, like I said, the process is not as fast as we would like for it to go because of all of the paperwork that is involved. But we're optimistic that as people listen to your program as well as just peruse our website, that they will take advantage of these opportunities.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of astonishing to me that we've only expended such a small amount, but hopefully as folks need it, we'll find a way to maybe expedite the process. It's a double-edged sword because you don't want to make it too easy. You make it too easy, then you have fraud. The fraud goes way up. You make it too hard. People say, forget it. I'm done with it. I can't do it. So you got to find that middle ground. So that is an exciting program. And I thought the video was very well done. And I hope that we can get the word out to folks and how, absent spending money on marketing on Channel 3, how are you getting this word out in the community? I know we've got it on our webpage. I know we've talked about it at board meetings, but are there other channels, your contacts that you're using? I mean, maybe the faith-based community, perhaps. I mean, how are we getting the word out to folks who might?
Yes, sir. So we have put out PSAs that have been picked up by our different radio stations. We are working with our Public Information Office, our CMR, to do an advertisement. So we do have funds available in this 17 million allocation that we can put some advertisement on WAR or any other television station. Absolutely.
How much was that again that you said that we have?
No, I'm saying we have within that 17 million that we was allocated. We have set aside funds to assist us with the marketing.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. And final question on this, and I apologize, this is just it's a unique program and it's brand new. So how many years do we have to expend the funds? Is it like the other dollars? Do we have until the end of 2024? Is there
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay,
the first round we have until this time next year to expand. And then the second pot, which is about a little over $7 million, that is to be expended by 2024. That's correct.
2024. Okay, so we got a couple of years we can. Well, I mean, if folks are down on their luck, I mean, the interesting part of all of this to me is that we have employers that are screaming. We've got 400 job openings.
Yes.
We've got really good jobs too. I mean, good entry-level jobs, corrections. I mean, you're going to get a bonus. I mean, so, I certainly hope that folks, take advantage of this. I mean, it's certainly it's an employee market right now. You can be very, very selective as someone with some skills, but there are a lot of folks looking for employees. So, hopefully folks go back to work.
Yes.
We've looked at some charts recently about the labor participation rate. Obviously you look at the unemployment rate, and CoLab, which is a program of Florida West. We've got folks over there that are looking at that every month, and they look at the labor participation rate. And I was astonished how the percentage of people who are not participating continues to kind of go upward. And that's a disturbing trend. I mean, even if your unemployment rate is steady, you've got a lot of folks that are not participating. They're sitting it out. So anyway, that's an interesting program. So since you're here with us, tell everyone else, what you do. What does Neighborhood and Human Services do? I know you have the CDGB programs. I mean, you have, or I said it wrong, but
Okay.
that's a tricky little acronym there. Got to get that right.
Okay. So within our department, I oversee our housing department, which we do have federal and state funding, which is the Community Development Block Grant, the CDBG. We have a SHIP program, which provide assistance to first-time homebuyers, as well as our housing rehab for Escambia County. And we have a home program so right now we're in the process of doing some affordable workforce housing. So we have 4 lots that we have gone through the board, and thank you guys for approving that particular project. And so hopefully we'll be breaking ground on 4 affordable housing within the city around Baptist Hospital that will be moving forward. And also within our department, we have community redevelopment agencies. We have 9 CRAs that we provide street light improvements, sidewalks. We provide assistance to homeowners to help them, put a roof on their house, replace the roof windows, storm shutters, as well as connecting to sanitary sewer. So we have a lot of good things going on in our department and like I said, the things that we provide, the services that we provide is almost a direct contact with the citizens of Escambia County.
No, that's fantastic. And I know I worked with Meredith Reeves on a couple of houses in my district where we got roofs on for folks who were really in need of that. So, I mean, I know you guys do great work and you spread the money around and we really put it where we need it. And I know we have a lot of these facade grants for small businesses as well. And so if they want to directly contact you, the best way to do so is to go to the website, myescambia.com, and then go to your department.
Yes, Neighborhood and Human Services, and they'll find information out there. And there's contact information out there as well.
Well, fantastic. Clara, I greatly appreciate having you on this morning. It was
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a big program, $17 million just sitting there for folks who need it.
Absolutely.
Come get it. I mean, and Wes, this is money that we were given over and above our $61 million allotment. Is that correct? I mean,
Yes, sir, that is absolutely correct. And, last board meeting, the board approved a resolution for the Escambia Area Housing Authority as part of a step in their process to issue bonds to low-income first-time home buyers. And so what they do is assist those folks with down payments, interest rates, and closing costs. And so, yeah, there are a number of resources out there to be able to take advantage of.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure that there are citizens that aren't aware of all these programs. So, I mean, I know as a county, we touch the lives of everyone every day in some manner or fashion if they live here, travel through our area. So this is just another facet of what our staff is doing to serve the community. So, Clara, I appreciate you being here today. Appreciate what you and your department, Meredith Reeves. I mean, what a great employee she is. She's so diligent. She works so hard to bring these programs and these projects before the board. I feel sorry because she does all this work sometimes and they don't get approved. And I just, especially some of the low income housing projects. Those are tough.
Yes.
So appreciate your hard work. Thanks for what you do for the community, and thanks for getting up early and sharing what you do with us this morning on the coffee. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Well, Wes, Eric, we got a little bit of time left. Any other final thoughts before we sign off for this month? Anything else folks need to be aware of over the next month or so?
Well, we're moving into the holiday season, so there'll be a lot of good activities happening downtown. We have Food Fest going on, and just in the community wide, as something that's kind of dear to me is the Pensacola Egg Fest will be happening here this weekend.
At
That's a
Wahoo
good-
Stadium, right?
Yeah, Wahoo Stadium. It's a good event. It's not really a county event, but it's good for the community. It'll be good weather, and it'll be a good time out there. But tasting all the good food coming off those big green eggs, and so we look forward to that. And there's just in the county itself, like I said earlier, I really am optimistic about where we're headed. I know, you hear some negativity and, oh, you're in turmoil. Yeah, we're going to be all right. We're going to be just fine. And we're going to get through this rough period, and we're going to come out shining on the other side. And
I
I'm
agree with
confident.
you.
I'm absolutely confident of that. And
Nope, I
we're
agree
going
with
to do
you.
great things. We're going to do great things.
And I guess I'll also leave you with this. Thank you for stepping up. I know you've stepped up to the position you're in right now, and the guys that you left behind to manage the roads and the bridges, they've done a great job. And just want to be thankful to the staff. We forward a lot of drainage issues. I mean, we've got a lot of challenging conditions, and your guys have always done a good job. And Eric, you stepped right into the hornet's nest when you had a great little thing over there with emergency management. And then you kind of got yanked up, and I certainly appreciate your leadership. And I know a lot of people have said that. You really, really changed the culture very quickly over there, and we greatly appreciate it. Of course, we're happy to support however you can. I look forward to the future. I know one of the things that you and I talked about was a replacement cycle and kind of coming up with that. And I know that's going to be a difficult task, but any sense of when we can realistically put that to paper and bring before the board so we can help you with that?
Jason, fire chief, he's got it done. I think he's putting some finishing touches on it. He's done a lot of work on it, worked with a lot of vendors, worked with a lot of vendors doing lease program looks, outright purchase looks. So I think he's about ready to finalize that. We're going to sit down and look it over, and then ready to bring it to you guys and let you choose which route you want to go. So, but he's been working very diligently on that. So I think we're about ready. So he's done
Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Well, yes, sir.
If I could hone in on that just a little bit with Public Works. Jamie Higdon, we have absolutely taken advantage of the dump truck market, the truck market, if you will. We had 2007 model trucks, and so we rolled 10 of those out, and we bought 10 new trucks. Well, last year we rolled out the new trucks that we had bought and made a profit of about $300,000.
Wow.
And we're buying more, and we're going to take the 10 more trucks and roll them back out. And we think we're going to make quite a bit of money on these trucks with the market the way it is. So we are absolutely lowering our maintenance costs. We were paying $20,000 average per truck to maintain per year. Wow. Last year, our maintenance cost was like $3,300, and because all we're doing is preventive maintenance, and they're under.
And then trading them in.
And then in the 13th month, we take them to the auction and we roll them out. And we think we're going to get close to $190,000, $200,000 per truck when we take these next trucks, just the way the market is. But now Jamie's done a great job of getting ahead of this game, and he's locked us into 2-year-old prices. So we're paying $159,000 per truck. Last year we sold them for $170,000, $175,000 per truck. We think we're going to get selling close to $200,000 per truck. But we're locked in at that 2-year-old price, and and that's a lot of effort, a lot of work, and a lot of foresight, really, on his part. So we are, there's those little things that you don't hear about sometimes, or the public doesn't see, that we're doing to try to be as efficient as we can be, and he's done a great job out there.
No, that's a great. I bet that salesman who locked down that price, he's probably looking for work. He's probably one of the guys out in the labor market right now.
Probably so. Probably so.
I'm surprised they're honoring that. I mean, to me, that's an amazing testament that because they're clenching their teeth every time you call them. We'll take another.
Yeah, well, we have a good relationship with them, and we're a big customer. I mean, we are a preferred customer, and they're having trouble, just getting new trucks right now. That's the reason where the market is like it is. you order trucks, you almost have to order them a year and a half in advance. You know, Eric can tell you the same with fire trucks. It takes that long to get these vehicles here. And I heard on the radio this morning that, you know, new car prices, you know, everybody goes, well, I'm not paying the sticker price. Well, now they're going, not only are you going to pay the sticker
You
price,
pay more.
pay above the sticker price.
Pay more.
You know, so the automobile market is just going crazy.
Yeah. This is the only time in history you can call for a salesman and ask, you know, hey, do you have a cert? And not even get a call back. They're so busy and they don't have anything to sell. There's nothing on the lot. I'm looking for something in particular. No one's got it. And so you don't even hear back. Normal times you call them, they want to know your name, social security number, when you're coming down to see it. And boom, boom. It's funny how things change.
It is. You know, and even in our hiring, I never would have dreamt 5 years ago that we would be given a $2,000 sign-on bonus.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 years ago, we'd had them lined up out the gate at Public Works to come to work. And
Isn't that amazing? It is
it's
incredible.
just, you know, it's totally turned. So COVID
Well,
has definitely changed how we do business.
Oh, it sure has, all around the world, all around the planet, right here in the county. But as we leave this morning, I think it's important, since you did mention the bonus, something that the board did, you know, like you said, one of those little things that of course, the newspaper is never going to pick up on it. Of course, they won't. But this isn't a forum where we can talk about it. Well, you with your foresight and your staff put forward a thing to when you say it's a $2,000 bonus, the board is going to support that. And so what that ended up being, the way we made the change, was before we would give you a $2,000 bonus, but of course everyone's got to pay tax, so it would come in at, you know, $1,350 or $1,400, so $2,000. So now the board, we just at our last meeting voted to pay the difference. So when we say, hey, you're a $2,000 bonus, you know, you're going to get a $2,000 net check, and the board's picking up the difference. So I think that's an important thing that we should let potential employees know. Truth in advertising, $2,000 is $2,000.
Absolutely.
So that's a good thing. It is, and it helps people out. So guys, thanks again to all of you for being here this morning, for all the work that you do for the county and the citizens. Appreciate it. And I hope everyone enjoys Veterans Day tomorrow. And of course, we got Thanksgiving right around the corner. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving with their families. And I look forward to next month doing this again. And hopefully we'll have a very good topic to discuss at that point as well.